Most Bay Area homebuyers blow it before they even write an offer. Don't be one of them. These are 4 mistakes that can stop you from ever getting a Bay Area home, even if you're pre-approved and ready to buy. Hey, I'm Mac Rogers. I'm a Bay Area real estate broker with over 20 years of experience. I've seen too many smart buyers get priced out or miss out because of stuff that was 100% avoidable. I've seen buyers miss out on great homes, overpay, or get blindsided by issues they didn't even think to ask about. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 4 biggest mistakes Bay Area home buyers make, plus one bonus mistake that could cost you thousands if you don't catch it early. So let's dive in. Here's the first one, not expanding your geographical search. This is by far one of the most common mistakes Bay Area home buyers make. Getting that tunnel vision of just one city or 2 cities or worse, one specific neighborhood. It's understandable. Maybe you love the vibe of Oakland's Rockridge area, or your friend just bought into San Mateo. But here's the truth. Limiting your search area could mean missing out on homes that check all the boxes, often for less money and more value. For example, someone looking into Walnut Creek might overlook Pleasant Hill or even Concord, where you can get more space and still be near BART and have similar schools or amenities. When we were buying our first house, we were looking into the peninsula, from Daly City to San Mateo. Unfortunately, we could not get what we wanted with our budget. By chance, I was always coming here to Castro Valley every weekend during the winter time to ride my bike in Lake Chabot. After one of our rides, I drove around several neighborhoods and I was surprised how nice it was. So one day, I took my wife here and we started looking at homes here. Before that, we never even considered moving to the East Bay. Yuck. If we didn't get to check out Castro Valley, we probably could never have bought or got stuck in Pacifica. I mean, nothing wrong with Pacifica, but it's just way too foggy for me. Here's a pro tip. Use a needs versus wants list and apply it to different cities you haven't considered yet. You might be surprised at what is out there. Now, here's the second biggest mistake that I see if you were like us and really wanted to stay in the peninsula, but your budget doesn't support what you are looking for. That is not looking at other types of properties. What brought us to the East Bay was because I did not want to buy anything other than a single-family detached home. I wanted 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, 2-car garage, and with a front and backyard. Like I mentioned, the only place that we can get that in the peninsula with our budget was in Pacifica. And I have lived in Pacifica before, and no way I wanted to go back. Always freaking foggy. So you might be focused on buying a single-family home, but what if a townhome or a condo gives you nearly everything you want, just with a little less maintenance and a lot more affordability? And this is what we never considered at that time. However, as I have seen in my real estate career, looking into these types of properties is also one way of jump-starting your path to home ownership. You know, looking back at our own journey, I can see how not considering townhomes or condos could have put us in a completely different path to home ownership. If we would have bought a townhouse in a neighborhood that was acceptable to us, we could have still built enough equity and eventually bought a house in the peninsula. Also, here's another story that I want to share with you. When we were buying here in Castro Valley, my friend at that time was selling his townhouse here in Castro Valley. He offered it to us. It was literally half our budget, which meant much lower mortgage payments. But my thinking was like, I'm already downgrading to the East Bay. I'm not about to downgrade again to a property that I didn't like. So we skipped it. That property during the next couple of years literally skyrocketed in price because the price point was so cheap. From a financial standpoint, had we bought that property, we could have easily doubled our equity in a matter of 3 or 4 years. But again, because we never even considered other types of properties besides a single-family detached home, that wasn't even an option that we considered. And I believe that cost us dearly. So those 2 mistakes that I just shared with you, you really need to open up or broaden your horizon, especially if you are always thinking about the financial aspect of your home purchase. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am not saying we made a mistake by making the choices that we made, especially since we were so rigid about what we really wanted. What I'm saying is that be open to other possibilities, especially if your budget is very limited. Okay, the third biggest mistake I see, and this one might be a little controversial, and that is not upping your budget. I know the importance of having a budget. I've bought homes myself and I've helped buyers work through tight financials. You should absolutely know your limits or what you're comfortable with monthly and what keeps you sleeping well at night. But here's the thing, I've seen too many buyers set an arbitrary cap that's just under what they actually need to get a home they want. And because of that, they end up chasing listings that aren't realistic, writing offers that never get accepted, and burning months, sometimes years, without making progress. So when I say upping your budget, I don't mean spending recklessly. I mean taking a second look at what's possible. Could you stretch it just a little? Especially if it means avoiding another year of rent and locking in fixed payments, or getting into a better area with long-term upside. Sometimes moving your price range just by 25 or 30,000 changes everything. I got two stories to share with you. I was helping two clients that were actually friends and they had the same profession. By all accounts, financially, they were identical. Both of them had the same pre-approval. I think it was around 1.5 million. The first family flat out told me while they could afford the $1.5 million home, they didn't want to spend that much. They felt uncomfortable with the monthly payments. Again, nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. The second one had no issues with the monthly payment. In fact, he wanted to push it a little bit higher. Fast forward 5 years later, the guy that stayed with a 1.5 million budget is still in his house. The house that he really liked in the first place. The other family that did not want to spend the full 1.5 million, we started looking for another property in a better neighborhood, and guess what? The price range is now higher than 1.5 million. Actually around 2 million and above to get what he wanted. Now, was he wrong for not going all out in the first place? I don't know. What I do know is while they enjoyed the house that they got, and they also made equity on it, they told me that there was always that sense of what if. It was a feeling of uneasiness that they were needing to move again. Here's another one. My other client bought a brand new property and they were deciding whether they're getting a one-car garage or a two-car garage model. Obviously, the two-car garage was more expensive, but again, they could have easily bumped up their budget. And I told them flat out that when it comes time to sell, buyers will always be looking for or wanting a two-car garage. Well, we didn't even get to the selling part. And the wife told me that she wished they had gotten a two-car garage just for the extra space and storage.
Well. How the turntables.
And then, years down the line, when they eventually sold, that was the most common comment that I would hear from most buyers. They love the property, but just wish it was a two-car garage property. Okay, we're almost there. Before I continue, if you're getting value from this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. And as a thank you for doing that, I have a free buyer's guide as well as a seller's guide that you can download. Moving on to number 4. All right, this last one might be the most dangerous of all, waiting too long. And 9 times out of 10, it's because people are trying to time the market. Hey, look, I get it. You're watching interest rates, hoping prices will drop. Maybe waiting for more inventory or for that right moment to magically show up. But here's the truth. The perfect time never announces itself. It only becomes obvious after it passes. I've seen buyers wait months or even years thinking they were being smart or cautious only to watch prices rise, interest rates climb, or competition get even worse. In the Bay Area, the cost of waiting is real. The home you could have bought last year for 1.3 million, that might be 1.45 now, or worse, you can't even find the same one or something similar. And here's the kicker. Most of those buyers weren't wrong to wait in theory, but in reality, they didn't even save up money. They ended up spending more. Timing the market sounds smart, but most people don't time it. They miss it. I had a client that was buying a property in a very particularly hot neighborhood. Now, during that time, the market was starting to turn a bit, but we weren't fully there yet. The first property that came up for sale, I told them we were competing with 2 other buyers and was told by the listing agent that it looks like we will be going over the asking price. Of course, I advised my clients to go up in price, but they didn't want to do it because they thought that the market was still iffy, meaning it could actually go down some more. Well, I said right here, right now, that is not the situation. This property that you are wanting to buy has competition, and chances are the next property that comes up will be listed at a higher price than this one if this one sells for more. Okay, to make a long story short, it took us 3 properties before they listened to me. And I kid you not, at that point, it cost them an extra $75,000 in less than 4 months because every subsequent property that came up for sale came in at a higher price, and there was always competition. So the bottom line is no one really knows what the market will do. You and I can't control that. It's like playing Russian roulette. All right, before we wrap this up, here's one bonus mistake that might seem small, but it can cost you big. And that is not asking enough questions or the right questions. I've seen buyers nod along during showings, during inspections, even while reviewing disclosures without realizing what they should be asking. Look, this isn't about asking more questions just to look engaged. It's about asking smarter ones. Things like, why is the home priced the way it is? What did similar homes actually sell for, not just list for? What's the seller's situation? Are they motivated? And are there any red flags in the disclosures that might be missing? And what happens after I get into contract? What's the timeline, the risk, and my options if something goes wrong? Not asking these kinds of questions early on can lead to surprises, wasted time, or even walking away from the wrong house for the wrong reason. And trust me, no one wants to learn something after they close. So if you're not sure what to ask your agent, or better yet, ask me. That's what I'm here for. Thanks for sticking around. Hope this helped you feel more confident about buying in the Bay Area. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or reach out directly. I'd love to help however I can. And if you haven't already, grab those free guides below. See you on the next one.